Hey everyone, it's Grady. So today in this video, I'll be covering the basics of the W-2 form. I know that with tax season coming up, all these different forms can be kind of overwhelming. So I'm gonna break it all down for you so that way, hopefully when you go to file your taxes this season, it'll make a bit more sense. All right, so getting into it. For short, a W-2 is only for people who work for a company, like they have an employer, and it doesn't apply to those of you who might be like freelancers or who are self-employed. So this could be for like a 9 to 5 or like a restaurant job. Pretty much anything that earns you a wage of over $600 a year, your employer legally has to send you a W-2 form. And the purpose of a W-2 is that it shows your taxable income and the amount of taxes withheld from your paycheck for the whole year. So next, I'm gonna show you an example of what a W-2 form looks like and some of the important parts of it that you should definitely know about. Okay, so this is an example of what a W-2 form looks like. So up top here in box A, you'll find your social security number, and then right below that here in box C, you'll have your company that you work for, the address, and below that here you'll have your address. So over here in box 1 is the amount of your total taxable income, so that's wages, tips, and other compensation like bonuses, any wage that you report that can be taxed. That number will be right here. And right beside that on box 2 is the amount of federal tax that is withheld, and below that the social security tax that gets withheld, and then right below that the Medicare tax that gets withheld. And these numbers are all on an annual basis, so over the course of the last financial year, this is the amount of tax that you paid into of each of these kinds of taxes. So down here towards the bottom, this box is an identifier if you paid into a 401k, and how much you paid into that is this number. So like this guy here paid $1,500 into his 401k. In this box here, box DD, this shows health insurance premiums that are paid by your employers. And then down here at the bottom, we have a similar thing to what we had up top, but this time it's state taxes. So here in box 17, you have how much you paid in state income tax. And then over here in box 19, you have how much you paid for local income tax. So this is just kind of the basics of what a W-2 is, what some of these numbers mean, and where they come from. So I hope this kind of helps to clear it up for you guys a little bit. So you'll receive your W-2 form in January, and the federal government requires that all employers send out W-2 forms by January 31st. And when you do receive it, it's super important to make sure that everything looks good on it. Like, for example, if you have like a rough estimate of like how much money you make per year from that job, the numbers on your W-2 form should be similar, because like if they're way off, then you know that something was entered incorrectly on it. And it's up to you to make sure that those numbers are accurate, and you definitely want to have those correct numbers before you go to file your taxes, or otherwise you'll have to amend those numbers with the IRS, and that can be a real hassle to try to like change those numbers after you've already filed, and I don't want you guys to like have to do any of that. So yeah, it's definitely just way easier to make sure that those numbers are correct and accurate before you go to file your taxes. So yeah, that's the basics on a W-2 form, and I'll have other videos on here explaining like the other tax forms and what they mean and who those are for. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave that here in the comments. I would be happy to help you answer those, but that's all for now. So take care guys, and I'll talk to you soon.